Hello and welcome to Unit 206, which is Skills in Repairing Minor Paint Defects. And what I've done, I wasn't happy with the texture of the paint. The clear coat came out rather heavy, so I've just gone over the whole thing with a DA and a 2000 grade abrasive on a disc, and it's highlighted some dirt imperfections that I'm just eliminating with a daisy block and a micro block and a daisy pad. And the daisy pad is around about 1500 abrasive, which will level down the dirt inclusion to a minimum. Once I've refined this with P3000 Trizact, which is what I'm going to demonstrate in a moment, that will make life a lot easier when it comes to compounding and reviving the gloss level. So make sure your DA is immaculately clean and the surface of the abrasive is immaculately clean as well as the surface of the panel that you are trying to rectify. It's massively important for this because the last thing you want to do is add more problems to the problems you're trying to eliminate. What I mean by that is if you've got dirt in between the surface of the panel and the abrasive, you're going to get scratches that will need further rectification and in some cases complete refinishing of the panel. So slow, deliberate DA action, plenty of water, and you can see that the 3000 is cutting into the clear coat, judging by the foam and the slops from the clear coat. I'm only going to do a section of the wing. I don't need to do the whole thing just for a demonstration. Just to recap, I've gone over it with a P2000 to eliminate or minimise the texture of the clear coat. Block down any dirt inclusion with a P1500 daisy pad and a micro block. And then gone over it with a DA, water, P3000 Trizact, which is a 3M material abrasive. And now it's ready for compound. The system I'm using is the 3M system, and it's colour coded. It's very easy to use. You've got green for the coarser compound. You refine the coarser compound with the yellow compound, and the blue is a swirl eliminator, which is it has no abrasive qualities to it, and it is a glazing agent. And it just seals in the shine that you produced from the previous materials. The orange thing you see in my hand at the moment is what's called a spur, and that will get rid of any old compound that's on the surface of the compounding foam and any contaminants that may cause possible scratching. A small amount of the compound is added to the centre of the mop, the compounding foam. And you notice I don't turn it on straight away. I address the panel and move the compound around the panel and then turn the mop on. Never turn the mop on first and then address it to the panel, because you'll end up wearing most of the compound on your overalls and the compound will fly across the room. So you're working into the panel and turn the machine on its slowest setting. Allow the compound to purchase into the 3000 grade Trizact abraded marks, and you can see straight away that the glaze is starting to, or the gloss is starting to come back. What you're actually seeing there is glazing agent, that swirly whirly stuff, and that will be removed in the microfiber gloss later on, but I'm just going to make sure that I'm getting all of the abraded surface of that panel. Colour coded cloths, I've used a green compounding foam and I'm using a green compound, and I've used a green microfiber cloth so you don't cross contaminate different materials. Now, although it looks nice and shiny, and if you took it outside I'm sure it'll look wonderful, we need to refine those scratch marks made by the green compound, and that's with the next material that I'm going to be using, which is the yellow compound. It's a finer material and that will deepen the gloss level and eliminate any scratches that could potentially come back that have been missed by the green. But at this stage you can see me moving the wing around. I'm using the light, using the reflection of the light to check my progress, and if it does require a little bit more with the green, now's an ideal time to do it. It's pointless moving on to the yellow until you've eliminated all the scratches that the green should have taken out. And if you notice, all the compounding foam are face up, never face down. The table has been dressed as well with a fresh piece of masking paper, and that's as well to eliminate any inclusion that could potentially get in between the compounding foam and the surface of the fresh paint. Same sort of principle. Address a small amount onto the yellow compounding foam, work it in, and then turn the machine on. If you notice, I'm staying away from the edges. It'll say in your exams that you're supposed to do edges by hand. If you're careful enough, you should be okay, as long as you understand the rotation of a mop. And you can see now I'm just pointing that the rotation from 12 to 3 o'clock, if you can imagine the yellow foam being a clock face, from 12 to 3, the actual foam is running away from the panel. And you've seen it when it was going from 6 to 9 o'clock and it started to jerk around and purchase. And if you're not careful, the wing will fly off the stand. So as long as you've got the compounding foam running away from the panel, you should be okay. But if you are in doubt, do it by hand or use a mini mop. And the mini mop's coming up later on in this video. So same sort of thing again. We're just going to remove all of our glazing agent and do a reflection test. Use it up to the light, move the wing around, and again look for every single minor imperfection that can be rectified at this stage. And that looks quite nice. A final wipe down, and then we're going to go on with the final stage. And the final stage is using the blue waffle. Centralise the waffle onto the backing pad, a small amount of the blue swirl eliminator. I've got my goggles on and my mask. And then same sort of thing. Slightly different principle with this. You started off slow with a reasonable amount of pressure just to work the swirl eliminator into the paint, and then you release the pressure and increase the speed. And you see I've just slowed down a fraction there just to create a little bit of heat, which will help increase the gloss level. And again, I'm putting pressure from 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock. If you can imagine the blue the blue polishing foam to be a clock face. So when I get to the edges, the compounding foam runs away from the panel and doesn't purchase into the panel. And that's all it really needs. A little bit of a wipe with a blue microfiber cloth as a final check. And what we're aiming to get is for all the preparation marks made by the daisy pad microblocks and the 2000 grade abrasives and Trizact to be eliminated, not just disguised. Okay, so for edges and small areas that you could potentially cut through on, it's recommended that you do it by hand. But another bit of kit you could use are the mini mops. Good thing about mini mops is they're pneumatic. If you notice, with any pneumatic tool, apart from a spray gun, obviously, you put a small amount of lubrication into the air inlet. Keep it upside down, connect the airline, and just run that oil through and around the bearings. And it's the same principle, really. You've got the green compounding foam, so the colour's going to be exactly the same. It's going to be green, yellow, and blue. Use a spur. If you notice, I'm not spinning the mop this time because there is a waffle effect on the compounding foams, and it'll just rip them to pieces. So I've included a little bit of sound on here so you can see what's going on, or hear the actual machine working. And the good thing about these pneumatic pieces of equipment is that you can control them with the trigger. So the faster or harder you pull the trigger, the faster the compounding foam will go. But I leave it on a relatively slow speed to avoid any burn through on the edges. And wipe off with the green microfiber. You move the panel, use the light, and check your progress. If there's something you've missed, just repeat the process. But I'm happy with that. It looks quite good. So I'm going to go ahead with my yellow compound, which is a slightly less coarse compound than the green. And this is to refine any marks made by the green compound and to deepen the gloss level. Quick wipe with the microfiber cloth. And then finalise with the swirl eliminator. So edges of panels, swage lines, anything along those lines. Your mini mop is your best friend. Also very good if you're doing corners of bumpers, A-posts, some very narrow areas. Once you're finished, put all your kit away, make sure it's nice and clean. And thank you for watching.